let's take a look at our top selections.
The fourth of 4 graded stakes races on Saturday at Santa Anita is the Grade 3 Thunder Road Stakes. This is the fourth leg of the Pick Six. Mandatory payout day in the Pick Six on Saturday. The pool should be around $5 million. And the last 3 races in the sequence are extremely tough, including the Thunder Road. The first 3, I might go ahead and single a horse in the first 3 legs. I like Allergic to Logic in race number 5. I like Whisper Not. I think that's everybody's single in race number 6, and Concert Tour in the San Vicente race number 7. But it gets tougher from here. The last 3 races are difficult, including the Thunder Road. It's a 1-mile grass race for older horses, and this race recently has produced some fairly generous payoffs. River Boyne paid $11.60 last year. 2 years ago, True Valor paid $25. Ohm, $11.40 3 years ago, and Farhan paid $18.80 4 years ago. This is a prep for the Grade 1 Kilroe Mile on March 6th, a race that is expected to include Smooth Like Straight and possibly another Twist of Fate. So this might be a relatively easy spot, but things are going to get tougher 1 month from now in the Grade 1 Kilroe. Let's take a look at the field for the Thunder Road. 1-mile grass race for older horses and some good horses in this field. Trainer Peter Miller has a pair of good ones, Sambaye and Hembry, inside and outside. And Campaign makes his comeback. Bordertown, Hit the Road, a good horse that's not really proven against older stakes horses yet. This is a very difficult race, and honestly, I can make a case for 5 of the 7 horses. The only 2 that I have a hard time supporting are Campaign, who is actually good enough, but 1 mile is too short for him, and Award Winner, who seems to be overmatched. The other 6 starters actually all have a chance in this 1-mile grass race. When all is said and done, I took a horse by the name of Sambaye. Sambaye made his California debut, well, it was only 3 weeks ago, and it was in an allowance race. And yes, it's true, he got an easy lead. Let's roll the tape on Sambaye's local debut, and that's him in the Yellow Silks. They came to him at the top of the lane, and he said, "Nah, I don't think so." In the Yellow Silks, Sambaye just kept on running, stretching out from a sprint. Second start back from a layoff. Second start for trainer Peter Miller. And Sambaye, who was a Grade 3 winner a year ago down in Florida, well, he returned to form in this allowance race. And when Peter Miller trainees get good, they tend to stay good, most of the time anyway. And while Sambaye did get a relatively soft trip, he was able to make the lead. He kind of coasted along. There's not a ton of speed in the Thunder Road either. So Sambaye could get the same type of trip again against this tougher company. Now, I was a little perplexed that jockey Flavien Prat, who rode Sambaye in his comeback win, and he also rode him last year when he won the Grade 3 down in Florida, that Prat actually jumped off of Sambaye to take Bordertown. Now, he had to ride one or the other because he's the regular jockey for both those horses. I don't know if there were political considerations or whether he thinks Bordertown is a better horse, which he might be. And based on Bordertown's most recent start, it was a 2 other than allowance. But this is a horse who was gelded last year, and he's finally learned how to be a racehorse. Let's take a look at Bordertown winning the 2 other than, rallying on the far outside, losing ground into the lane, very uncharacteristic for jockey Flavien Prat. He usually saves ground on both turns, but he knew what was under him this day. Prat did. He knew he was on top of a loaded gun. And I was actually joking with Prat earlier this week. I said, "Well, why'd you take the wide route? You don't usually ride like that." And he started laughing. He said, "It's because I knew I was on Tons the Best Horse." And Prat was right. Prat rides Bordertown. He took Bordertown over Sambaye. And although a 2 other than win does not necessarily mean that Bordertown can jump up and win a Grade 2, he is still relatively lightly raced, Bordertown is. He's only started 11 times. He's now a 5-year-old. He's a gelding, so he's going to be a racehorse, and he may have learned how to be a racehorse last time out with that rally-wide win in that 2 other than. I don't think that Prat is going to lose as much ground against this tougher company. He can't afford to, because Bordertown is not as good as some of the other horses in this field, at least not yet. We're going to find out if Bordertown, who trainer Dick Mandela has always loved, he loved him a year ago and was extremely disappointed, but he thinks he's got a new horse since Bordertown was gelded. Okay, a horse that I don't know what to do with is number 2, Hit the Road. And he was a 2 other than winner against Older last year. It was actually last spring at Santa Anita in his comeback from a long layoff. Let's roll the tape on that 2 other than win by Hit the Road. This is a 3-year-old in March making his comeback. It's actually May, making his first start against Older, and Hit the Road. He kind of dazzled this day. He won in 134. He beat a good field. He won going away. He earned a decent figure, an 89 buyer speed figure. And out of this race, Hit the Road would come back and win the Oceanside Stakes on opening day. He sustained a setback, and we have not seen him since last July. This is his comeback. Trainer Dan Blacker has targeted the Thunder Road all winter long, trying to get this guy back in action. Here we are. We're on the eve of the race, and Hit the Road has hit every workout, and he is ready to roll first start back. Is he good enough? If you look at his speed figures, you think, well, maybe not. But he's only started 7 times. He's won 4 of them. He already has defeated won a 2 other than against Older, so maybe he's not that outclassed. And as a 4-year-old, a lightly raced 4-year-old, his best races are probably still in front of him. We know that he runs well fresh, but we're going to find out how good Hit the Road is. I respect him. He's not my top selection. I like Sombier and Bordertown in that order, but I will definitely be using Hit the Road. Other contenders in this deep field include Restrained Vengeance, whose speed figures are arguably among the tops in the field. Campaign is prepping for a longer race. Talked to his trainer, John Sadler, earlier this week, and he didn't say that Campaign could not win, but this is a comeback prep for a horse that wants 1.25 miles, 1 3/8 miles, 1.5 miles. Award winner is outclassed. Number 7, Bob and Jackie, has a forwardly placed running style that should play well in a field without a lot of speed. Sombier and or Bob and Jackie are the 2 likely front runners in this field. They're not going to be going very fast. And then Hembry, who won the Joe Hernandez last time out for trainer Peter Miller, stretching out, and he has already proven at a route of ground. This race is absolutely wide open. My top 2 selections with very little confidence are number 1, Sombier, with a pace pressing trip, and number 4, Bordertown, rallying from behind. That's race number 8, Saturday at Santa Anita.